organization showed that the latest vaccination tests have failed.
Now, Ellie, that ain't for kids.
Whoa!
Taking a departure from the lightheartedness of the Uncharted series, acclaimed developer Naughty Dog went 20 years into the post-pandemic future for The Last of Us. You play as Joel, a Texan-born survivor of the cordyceps fungi outbreak. The widespread infection killed off the majority of the world's population, leaving behind a world much different than the present day. Areas of survivors are sanctioned off in military-mandated quarantine zones. Life in these zones is bleak for those uninfected, with ration shortages, reduced freedoms, and police state corruption.
Any straggler even looks at me the wrong way, I put his ass down.
Conversely, life on the outside is the Wild West, where nature has begun reclaiming the land and people do whatever they can to survive. The aftermath of the pandemic is manifested in the devastation left behind. With structural decay around every literal corner, it's clear that humanity has truly reached the brink of its own extinction. Amidst the ruins, though, is the beauty of The Last of Us. The remarkable lighting helps illuminate the dazzling visuals that demonstrate what can be done on a PS3 this late in its lifespan. The story behind the game follows Joel and his partner Tess, both of whom are saddled with the task of smuggling a teenage girl named Ellie to a radical group called the Fireflies.
Take her to the North Tunnel and wait for me there.
Jesus Christ.
Just cargo, Joel.
Despite her innocent looks, her disposition is closer to that of a firecracker.
You listen to me, you little shit.
No, fuck you! You handcuffed me!
I need you to shut up.
Ellie was born after the world collapsed, so it's up to Joel to fill in the blanks and provide his worldly insight during their journey to the Fireflies.
It's true. This thing would drive around and play real loud, creepy music, and kids would come running out to buy ice cream.
You're totally fucking with me.
Serious.
I thought you had plenty of food in your time.
Oh, we did. Some just chose not to eat it.
Why the hell not?
For looks.
That's stupid. Is this really all they had to worry about? Boys? Movies?
Thankfully, Ellie and the others you meet along the way can fend for themselves. The Last of Us is not a lengthy escort mission, but instead functions as a lesson in working together as a team. By helping each other open doors and reach higher ground, you're able to sense the bond between the characters as well as progress to the next area. It's an ingenious way to keep things focused on the gameplay while treating the cutscenes as a reward for reaching them. The aforementioned gameplay is very hands-on, with a take-what-you-can-find approach to using your environment to your advantage. In this example, you're fenced in, so by using a nearby plank, you can create a makeshift bridge across the two structures. This same logic applies to bricks and bottles lying on the ground. Joel can pick them up and divert an enemy's attention, or alternatively, he can just conk them in the head and cave their faces in. Your bare fists or modded weapons are capable of close-range brutality. Though the combat is not deep, there's a certain intensity capture that few games can touch upon. This is further exemplified by the in-game recovery and supply management system. Everything is done on the fly, with materials, medicine, and parts scattered across each area. You'll have to collect parts to upgrade weapons, and occasionally you'll find books to enhance your prowess with them. But what makes The Last of Us unique is the crafting system. Just like recovering health, you'll need to find a place to kneel and actually make the item you plan to use. If you're in dire need of a medkit, it's best to save the rags and alcohol you scavenge for that instead of crafting a Molotov that uses those same limited supplies.
You gotta be really careful. This thing blows, it shreds anybody standing nearby.
It's the weapons you create with your own two hands that provide the most damage. The fun and equally devastating nail bomb can be tossed.
Oh, fuck!
Or it can be placed on the ground like a proximity mine. Simply wait for the victim to stroll on by and watch their limbs be blown to pieces. Though the Molotov cocktail requires the most materials to create, just one can set an entire crowd of enemies ablaze. If you're low on supplies, you could always dish out the shotgun for maximum close-range damage, or you could take out enemies from afar with a hunting rifle. Sometimes, though, there's an overwhelming group of the infected trying to gnaw your face off. Times like these are best suited for the flamethrower. But The Last of Us tries to encourage the use of stealth, so the bow and arrow might be the way to go as it can handle close and far range quite well without making too much noise. You can also sneak up behind human hunters and shiv them with a swift stab to the throat. The stealth in this game has mixed results. Metal Gear this is not, but it's functional. Joel can use a special crouch walk that enables him to hear nearby enemies in order to avoid conflict, though the infected stalkers always seem to magnetize towards your position anyhow, so it doesn't hurt to see where they're coming from.
Clickers?
Shit.
One of the more terrifying forms of the infected are the clickers. The fungi formed over their face has rendered them blind, so they are forced to use a sharpened sense of echolocation to hear you out. Throwing a bottle far away can save you from an instant death, though if you have a shiv handy, they too can be covertly taken out. Just don't try the same on their horrific successors.
You fucking prick.
If clickers provide one too many nightmares, The Last of Us also has an infected-free online mode. The crafting system is tantamount to the main game, as is the theme of working together, though that does require a collective effort from your team. You're given a set amount of points to use for weapons and on-field abilities. These precious points can be used for a purchasable weapon, faster crafting time, or many other perks.
One less to worry about.
You gain parts for everything you accomplish, from healing teammates to making executions. It's less about kill-death ratio and more about doing things that net you parts. At the end of each round, your parts are converted to supplies for the in-game economy you're fighting for. If you convert enough, your population will grow. That same population can be randomly attacked, and you can lose your entire progress if you don't complete missions. Sometimes the game will unfairly throw you into a match mid-progress, making it impossible to gather supplies or complete missions to save your people. Seeing your integrated Facebook friends die is surprisingly motivating. Currently, the online mode is simply an extra, but it does show some promise if they can create some sorely needed additional maps and modes.
Look, let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, I had somebody that I cared about. And in this world, that sort of shit's good for one thing: getting you killed.
The Last of Us may very well be the most mature and well thought out story in gaming. It's an emotional journey with compelling characters and relationships you'll actually care to invest in. The lines of dialogue are delivered with such finesse that shows a deep understanding of the weight each character carries.
I can take care of myself.
How many close calls have we had?
Well, we seem to be doing all right so far.
And now you'll be doing even better with Tommy.
He said that the others had been slaughtered by a crazy man.
The story can be extended through various diaries and warnings left behind by others formerly inhabiting the area. The game has all sorts of optional things to read and collect.
Ellie, found another one of them comics.
Similarly, you can find hidden comic books for Ellie to earn one of the game's few attainable trophies.
That ain't the hard.
Naughty Dog hid all sorts of knockoffs and references to find. You'll see Pink Floyd's Animals album in a record store, and even fictional Jak and Daxter and Uncharted board games. The breath of loss in this post-pandemic world is materialized in the innocence left behind. Seeing unused toys that used to bring children joy and learning about the people that had to be left behind gives the game its dark and depressing tone. The soundtrack by Gustavo Santaolalla hits all the bleak notes, with its decidedly rural and minimalist approach. Even with graphical glitches and occasional gameplay bugs, The Last of Us does so much right that many of its minor issues are easy to overlook. It's incredibly rare to have a game that's this well paced and this fun to play, all while delivering such an unforgettable story about what human beings are truly capable of.
All right, come on.